Just before the Red War, Drifter and a crew went on a mission to an icy planet deep in the system. As they flew over this planet, they detected light-suppressing technology. They believed this to be an error or from technology found inside the planet. As they descended, they quickly learned this wasn't technology. They were creatures, and there were thousands of them. So recently I've been thinking about the Tormentors and if they can have any connection to what the Drifter found on that icy planet. Today we're going to take a look back at that story in epic fashion and then discuss the Tormentors near the end. Enjoy. I had a crew once, my best friends, which isn't saying much, they're all dead now. My crew, or a little subset of it, we lead the city together, dawn of the city age at the time. We were looking for something greater than light, because we had seen that light can be the cause of so much strife. We searched far and wide, must have been hundreds of years. We found a planet beyond the system bristling with an energy that repulsed light. Naturally, we were curious. We landed, intended to settle and conduct the research necessary to make this energy portable. Weapon out of legend called Thorn had similar light-repressing capabilities. It seemed promising, but hand to my heart it was cold. Humans were not meant for that place. Hundreds of years in space will do that. So there we were, on that cold hunk of ice with no name, just me and my crew, everything peachy keen. We discovered some kind of alien monolith, a facility left by the inhabitants of that planet long gone by then. But trapped inside was a creature, in a cage of some sort, frozen in ice. An exhibit? Was it some kind of zoo? Still not sure to this day. We should have brought a scientist. All we had were, well, guys who thought we looked tough in dark colors. During our long stay on that planet, we found many of those monoliths, each with their own captured creature. Anyway, this thing, the creature, looked like it shared common bioenergetics with the Hive. But there were no records then or since that I've ever seen with humanity's encounters with them. And the creature had a property the Hive did not have. It produced a field that repressed light, like a darkness zone, but contained to a gooey vacuous form with no head. The anti-light fields we had detected from orbit that spread across the planet? It was these things. Our ship's scanners indicated thousands of them were on this planet with us. We were ecstatic. In hindsight, we all could have done with a few less of them. My crew and I quickly learned that the creatures in the monolith facilities were not the only ones in that damn rock. Plenty of them roaming out there in the wild, where it was cold, but less cold than the frozen cages that contained the ones in the monoliths. How'd we find out? Well, one of us died in our sleep. Not that uncommon or tragic actually, happened a lot. Damn cold out there. Except this time, that fella's ghost couldn't resurrect him. Turns out those creatures just slithered by, and close proximity to it from inside our shelter just silenced the poor bastard's light. It was unfortunate, but it also lit a fire under us. The next morning, we realized we had a potential weapon on our hands that could change everything in battles of light versus light. We knew we had to find a way to get these creatures off their icy home, and we needed to find it fast. Despite our breakthrough, tensions were a little high. Some of us thought it was awfully convenient the creature wandered by and happened to take out only one of us, and so soon after we realized the value of them. We had been looking for a way to contain the creatures. The monoliths had some kind of freeze tech, if you could call it technology, that we could use if we can only replicate it. I'm a pretty savvy mechanic, but we couldn't figure it out. We started to blame each other. Someone must have lured one of those things near crew quarters. To this day, I still don't know for sure. Why kill just one of us? For what? It was more plausible that the creature did it knowingly, a punishment for our intrusion, but there was no malice there that we could detect, only biology. At the time, we didn't care. Eventually, one of them drew a gun. I knew it would happen, and I prepared a soothing speech to smooth things over just in case. I told him to holster that smoke wagon, and next time any one of them tried it again, I'd kill them all without a second thought. I didn't speak plainly often, but when I did, even that crew listened. We were at our wits' end, a year on the planet, and we had been completely unable to capture or tame the creatures that had become our sole objective. They were our pain. Our ship had been long rendered useless by the extreme cold. We had all died 100,000 times over to the cold. I know you've been in the Crucible, played Gambit. This was worse. Much worse. Anyway, 4 of us were left. We were ravaging psychos at this point, only the 4 of us and the howling wind and icy slopes for company, the occasional scurrying, vacuous creature to argue about. One day, when we had settled in for the night in another monolith, something swept over the planet. I later learned that it swept across the system. All you here in this felt it. You were there at its source. All 4 of us lost our light, and we knew it. We looked over at the monolith creature in its frozen cage. It seemed to stare right back. I think I mentioned we were all raving psychos at this point. Well, we did what all measured raving psychos would do. We thought we each had been betrayed by the others. We drew on each other. To this day, I'm not sure how many of those guys Drew intending to kill, but I'll tell you this, I was the only one who walked out. The creature in that monolith watched it all. When it was over, I stuck a finger straight up at it. It was just me now. How'd I get from there to here? Maybe I'll get to tell that story someday. We'll see if my gambit makes it that far. So he compares some of the creatures to the hive in appearance, but they had light-suppressing field and gooey vacuous form with no head. Also that they slithered around when they moved. Tormentors do have some similarities to what the Drifter describes. No head, I mean, they do kind of have a head, but triangle. And it can suppress light, which Tormentors can do. What's weird is that some of the creatures on the planet were in a cage. So if it was a Tormentor, maybe it was damaged or imprisoned on this icy planet by the Witness without its powers. Maybe they were sort of stored here until they were needed in battle. There are thousands of them across the planet and contained in this monolith built by someone. And when I think of the word monolith, I go directly to pyramid tech, but that's just me. Some would suggest that the creatures seen on the Drifter's derelict before Gambit could be what he found. This could be true, but we don't know for sure. Take a look at them, I can kind of see how this would resemble it. Maybe he found some way to freeze or preserve them, but I'm not sure if we have solid evidence of this. In Cade's journal, he described this. Whatever it is hits me before I can level my gun. Doesn't matter. Tendrils of pain crawl over my splayed fingers, my outstretched arms, my shoulders, my neck, my screaming mouth as it consumes. I'm being enveloped. Everything is wrong, primordial. My systems go sideways. All but my sensors. It wants me to witness this. The world, its world now, suffocating in the black poison. I collapse. We all collapse. With that text, these images are found. So are these creatures what Drifter found on that icy planet and are tied to the darkness? Are they tied to Tormentors, or are they something completely different? Maybe the Aphelion or a different alien race we are unaware of. So after making that little animation, I realized there was more to this story in the Illicit Reaper bond. Drifter says, "To this day I still don't know whether that planet with its numerous monoliths was meant to contain those beasts or breed them. Some of those morphs were caged, some walked free as we did. So how'd I get from there to here? We had no ship. We had to find a way to contain those anti-light creatures that had been the whole point of our trip in the first place." Drifter's ghost came up with an idea. If they can modify its light to replicate the energy effect of the monolith cages, it might be able to contain the creatures in the same way. And to do this, they would need parts from other ghosts. And with all of his crew members dead, that left their ghosts remaining. So Drifter and his ghosts would hunt them down and use their parts. We froze every creature we came across, brought them all on board a new ship cobbled together now that we were free to explore the ice trap of a planet. It was a trash fire of parts lovingly dubbed the Derelict, a ship that I had added to as I journeyed back towards home. So there we kind of get our answer. Drifter and his ghost actually have some of these creatures on board his ship, and it may be what we see in the Gambit mode. This still doesn't answer what they are though. Cade came across some weird darkness looking creatures. We now have tormentors that came from somewhere. Are these all a part of the same origin, or are they different alien creatures from different alien races like the Harmony and so on? Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. Diving into that lore story once more and speculating about it with the Tormentors. The Tormentors are scary creatures that can suppress our light, and I hope Lightfall gives us some background info on where they came from. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.